today's students are unduly worried about degrees, examinations, and the whole question of identity.
The flower doesn't go to school or college to prove itself. The flower's, existence itself is beautiful and appreciated.
There are a lot of knowledge resources or thinkers who never believed in God.
Well, once my spiritual master, my mentor, he was going in a flight. In the same flight, Maneka Gandhi happened to be there. So she asked him, Swamiji, I am working for environment. What are you doing? She asked. So Maharaj told her, you are working for outer environment. I am working for inner environment. Are we human doings or are we human beings? You are a very smart connector, I was telling. You must have given thousands of interviews like this.
No, people have interviewed me.
Yeah.
This is the first time I have. In fact, I have spent time with Barack Obama, starting with Jimmy Carter, who is now no more. And I have spoken at UN General Assembly on culture of peace.
Amazing.
But as I say that in my inner heart, I have great respect for people. Like I am still a professional. But you are dedicated. You have given your life to a cause. So that puts you in you cannot be evaluated in terms of scholarship or position. You have to be evaluated in terms of a dedication. Namaskar, young friends, dear students in India and abroad and wherever. I am Priyankar Upadhyaya. I am a UNESCO chairholder at Banaras Hindu University and especially interested in the areas of peace and conflict resolution, and currently also associated with MIT World Peace University here in Pune. But other than that, I have worked in many dozen universities abroad also in India. So my heart and my mind remains with the young students. And with this background, I feel very privileged and very happy to welcome Shriman Radheshyamdas, who is the president of ISKCON, Pune, and a teacher who has worked closely with the thousands of students and professionals, helping them to engage with larger purpose of life, and especially focusing on Gita as a practical and a universal resource of peace building and happiness. And of course, as we know that the world over, the students are facing this crisis of expectations, or the stress and the pressure they are having because of the competitiveness of the system and career uncertainties, mental stress, and also the question of what they are doing, what is their identity, what is the purpose of life. There are so many questions in the air. So in this context, who can be a better person to give us some ideas, to mentor us, to tell us about how the path that is revealed in Gita can show them a practical sense of wisdom and can drive their energy in the right direction. So, welcome, आपका स्वागत है राधेश्यामदास जी, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, आप आए यहाँ पे. Mentally, or rather through a consensus, prepared a few questions, few queries, although I'll not strictly stay with what is in my hand, but let's try to abide by it. So first and the foremost,
Sir.
Is this whole question of relevance of Gita. What is Gita? How this is relevant?
Yeah.
And especially because when we say that Bhagavad Gita was spoken thousands of years ago, so how does it remain relevant in today's world, in today's fast-paced and competitive world?
Yeah. And thank you for the opportunity to have your time and have this discussion. You will see that in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Arjuna was the, commander-in-chief, he was supposed to begin the battle. At the time, all of a sudden, seeing his relatives, friends, everybody, he collapsed in the battlefield, put his bow down, and he was overwhelmed by stress. and tension and fear of the outcome of the war and all these things. And Lord Krishna turned the battlefield into a classroom, and he taught the Bhagavad Gita there. So we can very much relate the same situation of Arjuna to the modern day students. Crying Arjuna, after hearing the Gita, became confident Arjuna. Confused Arjuna got a good clarity at the end of the Gita. Arjuna, who was actually filled with fear, became fearless. And it is evident from his actions subsequently after hearing the Gita. So that is why whole world is very curious to know what is there in this Gita that has transformed Arjuna in such a radical way. And that is what makes Gita relevant even in the contemporary times. Arjuna was under stress. Modern day students are under stress. Arjuna was under stress of the outcome of the war. They are worried about the outcome of their examination results when they are in academics. And at the end of their course, they are worried about the job situation. With the inclusion of AI, they are also worried even after getting jobs that there are layoffs. Sometimes 50,000 or 1 lakh people are being laid off. So at any given point of time in a student's life, where one is a student or one is a professional, they face this kind of crisis situations. So Bhagavad Gita actually teaches crisis management, stress management, and how to go from confusion to clarity, from indecision to decision making. So that is how it becomes relevant even in contemporary times.
The general notion is that, for a person who hasn't taken Bhagavad Gita seriously, and that the number is enormous number of, they just know Gita is and was a part of Mahabharata, this whole episode, and they just treat it like a religious text only. But the fact is, as you are saying, that basically this is the knowledge, the classroom teaching which Lord Sri Krishna imparted was to Arjuna, were not simply a religious text. It was a wholesome set of life skill values.
Exactly.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah. One can approach Bhagavad Gita like a spiritual scientist, because the principles spoken in the Gita are very scientific. For example, if I pinch an Indian, he feels pain. If I pinch an American, he feels pain. If I pinch an Australian, he will feel pain. So the law of pain is universal. Similarly, Gita talks about such principles. For example, Gita teaches us how don't look with the mind. For example, if this spectacles is my mind, for example, don't look with the mind, but look at the mind as a seer. So the first principle Lord Krishna taught Arjuna to help him come out of stress is that you are actually a seer, you are a spirit or the driver of the body. Just like in a car we have a driver, or in a parrot we have in a cage we have a parrot. Like that he told Arjuna that the body is different and you are different. So the body and mind are coverings over the spirit. The very first thing he taught. So let me put it in an engineering language. So the body is like a computer, and the mind is like a hard disk, and my intelligence is like a CPU. The CPU, central processing unit, is actually a decision maker. So intelligence is above the mind, So body, mind, intelligence, and I am the soul who is the operator of the computer. So if I can see like this, in a computer I am using the CPU to get the commands, and I am using the hard disk with softwares and everything, and I am giving input and I am getting outputs. So the hands and legs are like servo motors. So my mind is like a microprocessing unit, and this is what Lord Krishna taught. So don't think you are the mind or the body. You are different from mind and body. So body, mind, soul. These three things are taught essentially in the Gita at the beginning. So because the body is only a servo motor, it consists of servo motors. Mind is the microprocessor, and I am the operator. So when I can see like this, then I can see what is the problem in the mind. So this is the very first learning. Say for example, in a classroom, if somebody comes with the stinking socks, the person is not bad, but his socks is stinking. So the socks is cleanable, washable. In the same manner, Lord Krishna teaches that your worries and problems are in your mind, and they can be removed also. And don't identify with your mind or with the body. You are different from both. And also your imperishable identity. Just like in science, we say energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy disappearing in one form reappears in another form without any loss again. Similarly, the spirit also, it is neither created nor destroyed. And the spirit, when it occupies the body, we are alive. When the spirit leaves the body, body is called dead. So once the students know this, a huge amount of burden from their mind can be, thrown away. This is the very first principle he taught. You never die, and you are not the body or mind. That's the first lesson. Like this, there are many lessons. Gita teaches about mind management. It teaches about decision making, how to make right choices. And Gita teaches about the quality of speech, how we should speak with people. Gita teaches. Gita also teaches divine and demoniac. What are divine qualities, demoniac qualities, by cultivating which one can either succeed in the world or one can face challenges in the world. Like this, I can think of 24 subjects in Gita like this, relevant to students.
So relevant, actually. It seems to me, and obviously you have also written many articles, and especially I have just read one of your
Wisdom.
And I feel that you are very right in suggesting that the messages of Gita are very relevant for students today in dealing with his stress and anxieties and uncertainties. And obviously in Gita, Arjun represents that young man's uncertainties, anxieties and confusions. And obviously he becomes absolutely, what should I say, he loses hope and optimism. Why am I doing it? What am I doing here? And to that an extent, I think your ideas are really, but precisely, if I can ask you in a nutshell, how Gita prescribes norms to handle stress and emotional pressure without suppressing ambition. This is important.
Correct.
You have your aspirations and still you cope with your stress and emotional pressures. How can you, suggest?
Gita has a very valuable teaching. In Gita, Lord Krishna says, it's not wrong to be concerned about the results, but one should not become panicky about the results. See, there's a difference between the two. Say, for example, I am preparing for an examination. There is one famous writer called Goethe. He said, do not allow what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. So, for example, am I the paper setter of the examination? Am I the result awarder? So, when I think about this, I am not setting the question paper. I am not going to correct the papers. I am not going to put the marks. None of it is in my hand. Then if it is not in my hand, why worry about it? That is the Gita lesson. And Gita says that invest your energy, your focus, your time in things which are within your reach. Say, for example, I have a mango seed. I can till the ground, place the mango seed, water it, put a fence, make sure it gets sunlight, make sure it gets manure. These are all within my hands. What is not in my hands is the rain shower. The rain shower which will come, that is not in my hands. So man sows the seed, God gives the rain. The children write the examination and teacher corrects the papers. I give an interview and the panel has to choose me for the job. So half of it is my contribution, the other half is not in my hands. So Gita teaches that, do your best, let God do the rest.
Right.
So this is one lesson which can help students to understand where to invest their consciousness, their time, their energy, their focus. This is one of the lessons in Gita he teaches.
Very important.
Another interesting lesson he teaches that, even if you get bad result, for example, some student failed. Dr. Kalam rightly said, fail means first attempt in learning, he said. Because failures need not make us stressed. Failures are actually indicators that I need to learn more, make my approach better. In fact, the failing parties always learn more. You will see that. So, I can take it as a stepping stone to success. and then I can improve myself and return back. And if my mind is not clouded by worry, then even failure offers me feedback and tips which will help me with a clear mind. I'll be able to make better steps next time.
Very well said. I mean, this whole thing, it reminds me of these two words, Nishkama Karma. So, like, why should we bother about the results if nothing is in our control? And I think what has happened today, and that is where my next query or next curiosity would be to elicit some more ideas from you, is that today's students are unduly worried about degrees, examinations, and the whole question of identity. We see so many cases of very promising young students committing suicide, for example, because they feel that they are not able to match the expectations. As a summary, if you can tell us that how Gita suggests the alternative, how a student should develop a strong sense of self-worth, as they say.
Yeah, good question. Sir, if you see nowadays, people ask a student, what is your CGPA? What company you got placed in? How much is your salary package? Or how many people are you able to influence in the world? How popular are you? So if you carefully look at these questions, they all are all about a person's doing. Are we human doings or are we human beings? Is a question. So the human being is not clearly understood. Let me give an example. A flower in a garden, if you see, a flower doesn't go to school or college to prove itself. The flower's, existence itself is beautiful and appreciated. Similarly, a newborn baby, if you see, a newborn baby actually has to be changed a diaper and it passes stool and everything. Still, the mother and everybody else loves the child just for its being, not for its doing, because child hasn't done anything till now. Similarly, a grandfather for a granddaughter, little child, for her grandfather's affection is so satisfying. Grandfather is not a money bringer. Grandfather is not an achiever. He has to just exist for her. So here comes a very interesting point that Gita explains. It says that every living being has some unique, innate potential and ability, which if one can discover in oneself. I will give a very simple formula for this. IBM SMILE. You can remember this. I stands for interpersonal. And B stands for bodily, those who are good in sports. And M stands for musical. And S stands for spatial visual, those who are artists and painters and all, photographers and all that. And M stands for mathematical. And I stands for intrapersonal, those are philosophical. And L stands for linguistic, those who are knowing multiple languages. And E stands for eco-friendly. Those are concerned about environment. So every student can be told, take these 8 items and identify in which one you are specialist at. And if they focus on that, they can bring out their unique potential even as a student. Like for example, an engineering student in the evening time can spend with eco-friendly area or any musical area, and they can be given a chance to increase their inner strength by that. So the unique potential is that aspect of an individual person which innately is present in them, is a God's gift for them, in which they can develop very fast, and others also observe them doing it very well, and being able to succeed in their unique potential, they get appreciation from many, and that builds up their courage and confidence. So in this way, Krishna uses the word Swabhava. Swabhava means of a psychophysical nature. It is actually, one has to identify it, in which one I am good at. And another very important thing should be taught to children. Recently I heard in the NEET examination, one boy topped the NEET examination. His father patted him and said, "Beta, I wanted you to become a doctor and you are topped in the NEET exam. Well done. Now you let me put you in the best of the medical colleges." But the son told the father, "Papa, I studied for NEET examination only for your sake. But I want to actually become an entrepreneur and go into business field. Please let me go." But the father insisted so much that the boy hanged himself.
This is exactly what the crisis of expectations is. And I think Gita has certain trajectories to deal with this crisis of expectations. Now, it's really been so enlightening in such easy expressions. You have explained things to us. I would like to still focus a little more on the concept of Karma Yoga and how this Karma Yoga becomes alive in Krishna's teaching or in Bhagavad Gita. And I mean, how does one act without feeling anxious, uncertain about the result? And how does it help a student to synchronize, to sync his own ambitions with inner peace?
Correct.
You have already talked about it, in fact, in a flow, but still I would like to bring it down.
Yeah, I can say it even more concretely. You will see that when we are subjected to anxiety and emotions, we react violently with our mind to the situation. And the mind gets into a state of stress and turmoil, worry, and that actually saps our energy. You know, for example, I will give a very simple example. Say, I am sitting in a train and I want to watch the beauty of the nature. At that time, I kept my laptop in the berth above. If somebody is climbing up, I'll be in anxiety that he should not steal my laptop.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And if I keep my some suitcase below, I may be anxious that I should take care of it. Nobody should steal it. So when part of my mind is there, part of my mind is here, part is here, I can't, be free in looking at the beauty of nature. But if somebody else is with me, say my friends are there, my parents are there, they are taking care of this, look after this.
You feel very assured.
We feel assured.
So well, good example actually. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. In the same manner, this is about the mind I told you. In the same manner with intelligence also, say, I am driving a car. One person sitting next to me tells me, you go straight. One person tells me, hey, that's not the road for, going to Mumbai, you have to go behind. And another person says, you have to go in this way, this way. So 4 people guide me in 4 different directions. My car will not budge an inch. But if all 4 agree that everybody says that I should go here, then I'll make some progress. So when I am pulled by multiple anxieties and I become frozen, so what Gita teaches is, don't react with your mind, but learn to wisely make your responses with your intelligence. That's the main teaching. And in order for us to be able to do that, the point of Nishkama Karma, which you said, is a very beautiful point. Here, the Nishkama Karma teaches us, be dutiful yet detached. Yeah, that is the point.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, let me give you an example. Say, I give my stereo to one of my friends and tell him, in 3 months I am going to be away to home. Keep the stereo with you safely. When I come back, you have to hand it over back to me. He agrees. So 3 months later, I return after the vacation. I go to his room and he tells me that, hey, every day I have been hearing songs from the stereo and I love it so much. Now I am not feeling like giving back to you. I want to have it. That means he has become attached to it. Or I go to him, I find that stereo is missing. I ask him, what happened? He says, you see, my small son, he took it to the terrace. He has opened it completely and he is releasing the electronic items and seeing, I think he's going to be an electronics engineer. I saw him removing the wires and everything. You just go and pick it up, he tells me. I go and see, I don't know how will I assemble it. So that means he has been irresponsible. So Gita says, don't be irresponsible and don't become attached. If I give it to you, give it back. Now, in the same manner, the life is given to me by God. The God has given me the gift of this life. So, God has given me the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. These are all His gifts. He has given me the brain. Now, I can utilize this body in such a way that I do some contribution to the world and I do some contribution to God, who is the source of everything. He has given everything to me. And I also lead a peaceful life without stressing myself.
Yeah.
So, for this, we have to cultivate personal values, interpersonal values, social values, spiritual values. When I cultivate these values, and how do these values begin, I'll tell you, acceptance of God. If you don't want to call it God, you can call it source of everything. Ultimately, there is something behind everything. There is a very big talk about the intelligent design. Although Dawkins wrote a book called as God Delusion, immediately another book came out called as Dawkins Delusion. Because Dawkins wanted to somehow or other say that probably there is no God, you can enjoy life. That's what he said. But then the Dawkins Delusion book clarifies the point that you are talking about a material source of everything, but beyond every material source, there are further and further. The ultimate source of everything is there is surely someone there. So, acceptance of God, alignment with the wisdom literatures, and acting in a selfless mood. That's one of the spirit of Nishkama Karma. Because the more selfishly one becomes oriented, one's stress level increases. Like one old man, he was 90-year-old man. He was sowing a coconut tree seed. And somebody asked him, hey, you are already 90 and you are sowing this coconut tree. By the time it gives coconut, you won't be there to drink it. He said, why are you foolishly talking? This is for my grandson I am doing.
I know, absolutely. So actually, in this sense, what you are saying is so relevant for today's young minds. And also like what, of course, my generation or even your generation, we feel it is our responsibility to encourage them to carry out their duties in an ethical manner.
Correct.
Or as we say, purity of means.
Yeah.
And today something like in this digital designs and AI, etc., as teachers, as professors, we feel so worried about the ethics. I mean, how a student is, learning or absorbing knowledge. And I think in this respect, your views could be of very interest to us.
Yeah. Actually, how we look at the world around us, how we look at the environment, how we look at the people around us matters a lot with respect to whether a student will be ethical or not.
Right.
Like if we see everyone and everything around us as object for exploitation, then we are going to deal with them unethically. For example, once my spiritual master, my mentor, he was going in a flight. In the same flight, Maneka Gandhi happened to be there. So she asked him, Swamiji, I am working for environment. What are you doing? She asked. So Maharaj told her, you are working for outer environment. I am working for inner environment. He said, because our inner environment means there are two things in us. There's an angel in us, there's an animal in us. So the angel is divine and the animal is demonic, we call it. So animal means to exploit, abuse the nature and the people around us, like Ravana did. And angel means like Hanuman, to serve, to be of utility to others, and see oneself as an instrument in God's hands. So we can be divine, we can be demoniac. Depends on which one we feed. If I feed Hanuman in me, then Seva Bhav will come. And if I feed Ravana in me, then Bhoga Bhav will come. So I will tell you a real life example, Enron scandal, or if you take the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen company made a vehicle where they used a defeating software. As soon as the pollution level will reach its limit, the software will operate and defeat it. So anywhere that vehicles were tested, they always showed that the pollution is within limits, the vehicle. But then, so they earned $7 billion in 2009 or so. And 2014, the fraud was found out and they had to pay something like $30 billion.
Yeah, it never pays at the end.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Another area actually that has interested me personally also for a long, long time. And I think this also concerns all the theoreticians, philosophers, or even practitioners of peace building and peace. Is the way this dialogue was carried out between Krishna and Arjuna.
Yeah.
In fact, this itself, some people ask me that what is it that stands out or which allows you to say that in our ancient tradition or Hinduism or whatever one calls it, what is the most significant feature of this particular peace building? And I would instantly say it is dialogue.
Yeah.
This dialogical tradition, Vade Vade Jayate Tattvaboda, for instance, this is said. This comes out so alive. And in fact, very interestingly, I was reading Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate, and he mentions, and you see, this is how a young student should also look at the reality from this lens also. He says that when he was a very young pupil, he thought that Krishna's ordaining to Arjuna to go for duty and go for the war
Correct.
Was correct. But as I became a little more mature. And today when I look back, I think Arjun also had a point after all.
Yeah.
Because after the war, nothing remained. Everything was lost. So the important part is the dialogical tradition, that there are two aspects of the same thing. Still, at some point, given the context as you mentioned, Arjun had to go for one option.
Correct.
So what is your vision about this particular thing?
In Gita, Lord Krishna says, we are not a puppet in the hand of destiny. Rather, we are actually choice makers. Like in ABCD, between B and D, we have C. Between birth and death, we have choices. At every moment, we all make choices.
Very nice.
And the choices carves our destiny. So students also, when they come to the college, they have a choice to choose good association or bad association. They have a choice to play all day and lose the marks, or they have a choice to resort to disciplined lifestyle and get good marks. And the students have a choice, to go to library when there is a free period, or to do scrolling, or hang around with friends who are gossiping. So at every moment we all have choices. So Gita teaches us, first of all, know what are the good and bad choices. Be aware. So know the right, choose the right, discipline the right. For knowing the right, the Gita gives a lot of wisdom. And for choosing the right, we need willpower. So for the willpower, we need to do meditation. So we also, you will find that the meditation has been proven scientifically. Like Florida State University conducted a research on all the ISKCON devotees there. They took something like 500 students in the college, and they made them chant this Hare Krishna mantra, which we chant for about 25 minutes. And then they studied their body and mind, with laboratory apparatuses and everything. And they found that the mind becomes calm. 4 things they have mentioned: the stress, the depression, bad habits, and addictions. All these things were reduced by those students who are chanting. So, by chanting, our willpower increases. When the willpower is increased, we are able to make the right choices. So, Gita teaches you what are right choices, and chanting helps you to commit to the right choices and the association. Okay. If I am living in a company, like we say, birds are the same feather flock together. If you live in good association, I am able to stick to a particular disciplined lifestyle. But if my friendship peer association is going to drag me down, then I get dragged also.
Very, very, very relevant, lovely. I mean, but that comes us to this practical issue of a young student who has never read Gita. Where should he begin? I mean, how should he begin? Where should he begin? And
I would suggest, sometimes students find studying Bhagavad Gita overwhelming when they start it directly, because of the shlokas and the technicality and the names and everything. In order to simplify the understanding of Gita, I have prepared a book called Wisdom I. Wisdom I means Shastra Chakshu. See, it's actually based on the Gita. We have taken principles like, first thing, understanding our identity. Understand who you are. Because by knowing who you are, you can understand your own value. And one can be freed from the inferiority complex. Then we also have on duty versus desire. We have a chapter. We have a chapter on making the choices and which choice leads to what destiny, which means fate and free will. Now we have a chapter on that, and how to choose our association wisely. So these are all taken from the Gita and put in a form of like 6 lessons we have. And
I've seen the book which you have done. I think it should be read by anybody, and I think a novice can, a beginner can also begin with that.
And that I can say that's like a baby step to the Gita.
Baby steps.
And then when they read Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada actually gives commentaries which are very relevant to the modern day youth. Like many youths have questions about happiness and peace. So Gita talks about that.
I've read it. And Prabhupada, he has such a resilient and flexible notion. He says it's like Chudamani, you can get all your answers at one place. And to that extent, it provides you the path any which way. Now tell me one practical question. As you know, when we talk about even the Hindu traditions, of course there are debates about it. There are a lot of knowledge resources or thinkers who never believed in God. So now this is a practical question that suppose somebody is an atheist or somebody is a non-believer. So how does Gita, reading Gita interfere with his belief, or how does it happen? So you are such experienced seasoned person, you can tell us.
Actually, one of our first sessions is about does God exist? We talk about that. I will tell you how we explain about this, about God's existence. Like for example, observe the world around you and you can learn many things. Say for example, plants give me oxygen. I give them carbon dioxide. Correct, no? Similarly, you will see in villages, there are birds sitting in the neck of a bull or a buffalo, taking the ticks. So they get ticks to eat and they relieve the animal of its trouble. Same with a lion or a tiger, things which cling on their teeth. So there is a small bird which goes inside and removes it, but the lion will never eat the bird because they are symbiotically related. They relate like that. In the same manner, parents beget children and the children are very tender. They totally depend on parents. And then when the children grow up, then parents become like children. And taken care by their own children. So that's a symbiotic relation.
Child is the father of
Child is the father of man. So in this way, when you see the symbiotic relationships in the world, so who has created the symbiotic relationships is one question one can ask. In the same manner, the intelligent design. Say for example, the hair on my head, it grows longer so that people can have different styles of hair. Whereas this hair doesn't grow longer than this. Here, and some enzymes are here. Why? Imagine if God let this hair grow like this, then I'll have to always lift and see.
I know.
It would be difficult, isn't it?
Evolution.
So, in this way, we can study the intelligent design in the body, in the nature, in the birds. So, we have a session called as Discover Yourself. Anybody goes to YouTube and puts Discover Yourself, Radheshyamdas. 8 sessions one will get. We begin with Does God exist? See, when we talk about God, our explanation is very simple. There is a source of everything. A Reynolds pen doesn't come from nowhere. A chapati doesn't come from nowhere. Anything which has a design, like you go to a laboratory and see UTM machine. You ask the man, which is it from Germany? He says it came from nowhere. And you ask him, what is this purpose? He says, it has no purpose, if he says. You will think he is nuts. No? Similarly, when there is a design, it has to have a source, it has to have a purpose. Now I am seeing everything in this world. I look around, everything has a purpose. You can see that. So we begin with that the source of, now does Gita need one to believe in God? I will tell you why there is a need, I will tell you. When you talk about detachment, like if a child is able to recognize the father's availability, then the child's anxiety is gone. Correct, no? Like a boy who is looking at a dog, he is scared. But if he is holding the hand of the father, he has no more fear. Correct, no? He becomes free from fear. In the same manner, those people who are atheistic, they think this world is existing for no rhyme or reason. There was one Camus, in the Western world, there was one Camus. This Camus philosopher said, this world is absurd. He said, nothing makes any sense to me. It's all, just existing and without any purpose. So, what he did? At one time, he drove his car off the cliff and he committed suicide because he never saw any purpose in life. In the same manner, if somebody doesn't see any rhyme or reason for life, even if they read Gita, what sense they will make out of it. Like Gita, he says, you do your duty, don't worry about the result. If he says, then the question comes, then who awards the result? Right. See, in a company, nobody gets promotion by chance. That's a promoter. Nobody gets demotion by chance. Somebody is demoted.
And we all see it in our everyday life. That sometimes, many times, you don't expect a particular thing to be successful and you succeed.
Yeah, correct.
And sometimes you don't succeed. So, so finally, as we are coming to the, of course, this is an endless discussion and there's so much to learn. But like if, as a professor, I go to the class and there are students of all kinds, and some of them have this knowledge or prejudice, whatever you prefer to call it. How do we encourage them to at least once start with Gita?
Correct.
How do we initiate them?
Yeah, correct.
That is the big question that we have.
Yeah.
And also give us some examples how in your personal experience you have seen a real transformation coming in the lives of students after this initiation. And this is the last one.
You see, in the contemporary world where we are living in now, life has become extremely challenging. So much so that some students are committing suicide because they have parental expectations, societal expectations, unhealthy comparisons, and the social media explosion, due to which they are unable to control their scrolling, and also peer association, which leads to many bad habits also. And also they are ruining their health with smoking, drinking, drugs and all those things. So with all these things attacking them from all directions, now the students have started looking for a meaning to life, purpose to life. Why are we existing in the first place, and how I can get rid of all these things? They are definitely seeking help, many of them. Not only in India, I am traveling to America 3 months in a year, East Coast and West Coast. I see everywhere people want to talk to somebody because everybody is sitting with their own smartphones. So students are looking for someone who can listen to them first. So when we go to colleges, my experience is this: students come with many questions. We do this Discover Yourself course, 8 sessions we do. Then they get some direction in life, which is based on the Gita. And after that, we have a weekly program in which we don't teach only the philosophy. We have practical activity. For example, I told you mantra meditation. We have mantra meditation music also. We have the very nice Vedic cuisine prasadam. We also have dancing. And we also have many cultural activities like festivals we have. We also take them for outings also. Many of students do breathing exercise and yoga also. And for the first time, they take out time for themselves, which they were never doing before. And also we have morning meditation together. They do together. Along with it, they read the philosophy of Gita. So we call it as a Vedic oasis for inspiration, culture and education.
Very nice.
So the education and culture, when they are blended together with devotion, then the students find it very joyful. And right now in our temple, there are 600 students from all NITs, ITs all over India have come. We're having a program now. For the last 1 week, we have retreats here. And students are like children. They are so happy and jubilant. Actually, this process brings out the best out of them. Otherwise, sitting in a synthetic room, glued to the computer, all the time, all day, 16 hours working like that, their stress levels keeps increasing more and more.
Yeah, I must compliment what you are saying by expressing our thankfulness that organization like ISKCON is working here. They are part of a very large wheel.
Started by Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
And
of course,
he made the hippies into happies.
Hippies and world over. It's a sight to see. You go to Rome, you go to Stalingrad, you go to Tokyo, and you find that people are connected. People are connected through this great wisdom of Gita, which obviously is...
And it is universally understood. It is not a sectarian thing belonging to only Hindus in India.
Across religion. And that is the beauty of it. It's very... I don't want to use the term secular, it is misunderstood. But it teaches love for all religions. So with my UNESCO chair on intercultural understanding, we always recommend Gita as really the core, the start point of it. And thank you so much for devoting a lifetime to, and I'm sure there are many like you who are spreading this particular expressions, this music of Gita to common people. And Sriman Radheshyamdas ji, आपको बहुत धन्यवाद, and आप ये काम करते रहें, and we'll always be there.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we are very keen to see that this message is taken to many colleges. We have recently made a LMS for this Wisdom Eye, and we have made 21 short 20 minutes videos. And if students want to take it in a self-paced way, colleges can prescribe. One of the colleges in Pune called MIT ADT. 3,000 students have registered from the college. And one is Dr. Atul Patil helped us with they have a holistic department they have. In the same manner, we are hoping that, by the inspiration of great personalities like you are...
No, I'm not, but I'm saying that, the world over...
Many students will take up.
what is happening is, whether it's Industry 5.0 or European Union, whether it is UNESCO's very potent futures of education, in which they say unless you connect life with knowledge, and Gita is one definite, very plural, very diverse, very dialogical way of doing it. So all very best, and look
Thank
forward to our time together again.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, Hare Krishna. You are a very smart connector, I was telling. You must have given thousands of interviews like this.
No, people have interviewed me.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm interviewed. In fact, I have spent time with Barack Obama, starting with Jimmy Carter, who is now no more. And I have spoken at UN General Assembly on culture of peace.
Amazing.
But as I say that in my inner heart, I have great respect for people. Like, I'm still a professional. But you are dedicated. You have given your life to a cause. So that puts you in you cannot be evaluated in terms of scholarship or position. You have to be evaluated in terms of a dedication.